大家好，欢迎你们再来看我们 Learn with John 雅思口语直播。所以今天我们开始练习雅思口语之前，我要谈论一下 Part 3问题，因为最近有一些学生问我们在这些直播以及在我的小组雅思口语课的时候用的那些 Part 3问题，是不是跟真正的考试一模一样，还是会有一些区别，还是我怎么知道我用的那些 Part 3问题是准的？老实说，我觉得我用的这些问题，这些 Part 3问题和真正考试的那些问题肯定有一些区别，然后所有在网上找雅思的老师用的那些连续 Part 3的问题都不会跟真正考试的 Part 3问题一模一样。为什么呢？是因为 Part 3口语考试 Part 3第3部分和第1部分 Part 1不一样。哪里不一样？就是在 Part 1你的考官必须问你指定的一些问题，所以在 Part 1的时候，你会看你的考官，他会看他的那个话题书，然后他会直接从那本书朗读那些问题，然后在 Part 1他一点都不可以改变那些问题，那些问题就是主题的，是肯定的，他不可以改。所以比如说，如果你第一次听不懂，他不能用一个更简单的方式问你同样的一个问题，他必须第二次也用同样的单词，就问一模一样的问题。但是在 Part 3情况不一样，在 Part 3每一个考官都有资格用他自己想用的单词问考生问题，然后在 Part 3考官也可以想起来他自己想问的问题，只要哪些问题是关于你们在谈论的那个话题的话，考官可以问任何一个他想问的问题，所以没有任何老师知道你在 Part 3会被问什么，具体的会被问什么问题，所以每个考官问的问题都会不太一样。然后我在准备这些课的时候，也在准备我做的小组口语课的时候，我当然尽量找到当时的雅思 Part 3问题，但是如我所说，我也不是100%一定我问的问题是你在考试的时候被问的一样，他们大部分会一样，或者只会有一些很少，但是很多时候不会一模一样。OK， 那就是我的今天的第一个重点。所以我们已经有几十个人，所以可以开始练习一下你们的口语。但是我首先要做一个小的挑战，所以我现在就给你们发不是2个，是10个，10个不同的你可以做的活动，然后你们的挑战就是你们要想什么动词配这些活动，所以都是 go 或者 play 或者 do，所以每一个这10个项目，这10个活动都有一定的应该用的动词，有的是 go，有的是 play，其他的是 do，所以你们要看一下这10个活动，然后决定一下哪一些是 go， 哪一些是 play， 哪一些是 do。比如说第一个就是 yoga， 所以我们会说 to go yoga， 或者 play yoga， 或者 to do yoga。然后第一个可以完成这10个词组，或者完成这10个词语搭配， 的人，正确的完整值10个，可以做我们第一个回答今天 Part 1问题的学生。所以 yoga 是 go yoga 还是 play yoga 还是 do yoga bowling 我们会说的 go bowling 还是 play bowling 还是 do bowling 所以学习费但是你全部10个都要回答全部10个然后 swimming 我们说 go swimming 还是 play swimming 还是 do swimming所以我觉得大部分是容易的，但是也许有一些你们没听说过的或者不一定的，所以我们已经有一个学生回答了，就是我们最快的学生 Ruby，所以我们看一下 Ruby 说 do，说 do yoga， play bowling， go swimming。play music, go tai chi, play fishing, do volleyball. 我觉得你是不是错过一个 Ruby？不管怎么样，你至少有一个，我觉得你有几个错误，所以不是都对的。然后第二个学习 do yoga, play bowling, go swimming, play music, do tai chi, go fishing, play volleyball, do judo, play cards, play rugby. 9%的是对的，但是有一个错误。Lydia, do yoga, go bowling, go swimming, play music, do tai chi, go fishing, play volleyball, do judo, play cards, play rugby. 恭喜你，Lydia, well done, Lydia， 全部都对。OK， 所以 Lydia 就是第一个回答对的。Oxel， 我们看一下 ，play yoga。No， 不是 play yoga， 不会。OK， 所以 Lydia 是第一个回答对的。恭喜你 Lydia。我现在给发一下答案，然后一些你们也许没有听说过的单词，我也提供翻译。Okay, so Lydia, if you want, you can be the first one to answer these Part 1 questions. So if you want to, okay, Lydia's already put up her hand. So, okay, so Lydia, these questions are all about
Good evening.
Good evening to you. Good evening. Well done. You were very fast. So Lydia, your questions today are all about fish, okay?
Okay.
Cool, right. Okay, so Lydia, do you like eating fish?
Yes, I like it a lot. I think it is the most delicious food, and I have to say, I like cooking fish, and I cook it well.
Do you like watching fish swim in the water?
Actually not, because I think seeing the fish swimming in the pool or in the pond, that's a little bit boring. I just like eating them. I just like eating them, but not watching them. Okay.
Is there somewhere where you can go fishing near your home?
Yes, there are. Sometimes I go fishing with my parents during the weekends. Those places are in the countryside, and I have to say, we're fishing in those ponds, and the environment nearby is so beautiful.
Why do people enjoy fishing?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think about it. First of all, mostly the places where you can go fishing are in the countryside, where you could take a fresh air, and during the process of fishing, you could get a sense of achievement. Finally, I think most of the people like eating fish like me, so many people enjoy it a lot.
Okay, well done, well done. Okay, good job, Lydia. Very good. So pretty
Thanks a lot.
complete answers there. Well done. You gave enough sentences in your answers, and you produced a lot of language, and you produced a lot of error-free sentences. So you had a lot of sentences that didn't have any mistakes. So well done. And
actually, last week, I went to Chengdu for the IELTS test, and the examiner asked me the same question.
Very good.
But last week I was so nervous, and I feel I didn't do well in the examination, so I come to your class again.
Okay. Well, you've got another, let's see, if that was last week, so you've got another maybe 1 week to wait before your results. Is that right?
Yes, and I think I make a great contribution to the GDP of the United Kingdom.
Okay. Well, they need it now. They need it now because of the coronavirus. So yeah, that's very kind of you. Okay.
Oh.
So what result do you need to get, Lydia?
He asked me a question about do old people in China, they like fishing, but because my father, he likes fishing a lot, so I just keep on talking about my father. I think sometimes I'm like going out of the point, off the point. So, and then he asked me some question about indoor games. So, and I think I am a little bit nervous.
So what score do you need to get?
I want to get a 6.
You're not hearing me. What score do you need?
Actually, I think 6.5, but I think this time I could not get it. So the next time, I hope I will be more lucky.
Well, let's see. Wait until your results this time anyway. Don't despair until you see your results. So there's just, in your answers there, Lydia, I better give you some feedback. So in your answers, there was just one answer where you had a little bit of a logical problem and where you didn't fully answer the question. So the question was, is there somewhere where you can go fishing near your home? And so you said how you like to go fishing with your parents on weekends, and that's fine. And you said you go to the countryside. So you did, but you didn't say whether it was near your home or not. You didn't say where.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, thanks a lot.
Okay, no problem. So you should, in answering that question, you should say it's 20 minutes drive away from my home, or it's half an hour drive away from my home, or I can cycle there, or whatever. And so you should have dealt with that aspect of the question. A couple of other little things. So the second question was, do you like watching fish swim in the water? And you gave a good answer. That was a good answer. Just the beginning of your answer, there was a small little grammar mistake. So the question was, do you like? And you answered by saying, actually not. Actually not. So.
So I should.
Be,
that.
Do you?
I don't like watching. Compared with eating them, I prefer watching them.
Yeah, I understand. So as I said, the rest of your answer was good. Just the start of your answer wasn't great. So it's, do you like? Actually, no, not actually not. Do you like doing something? Actually, no. Not actually not. Okay, actually no.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
No problem. And the last thing, in your fourth answer, so you gave some good reasons as to why fishing is popular and why people like fishing. But just one time you said to take some fresh air, and that's probably not a mistake, but it's not a common thing that native speakers would say. We'd usually say to get fresh air, to get some fresh air, rather than to take some fresh air. Okay. All right.
Thanks a lot.
So just a few small little mistakes, Lydia, but a lot of good sentences, a lot of good vocabulary. So well done. All right. Thank you. Okay, let's give some other students a chance, and I'm going to post those questions into the message box. So I'm going to get some other students to try answering these questions. So anybody else know, if you want to, you can put up your hand. We've already got a few students waiting. So everybody who wants to answer these questions can take the chance to put up your hand. 如果你要回答这些关于语的问题的话，可以现在举手一下。Right, and I'm going to pick a student at random. And I'm going to choose number 3, whose name is Faye.
Hello.
Hello, Faye. Hi. Okay, cool. I can hear you. Great. Okay, Faye. Do you like eating fish?
Yeah, definitely. I like eat fish very much.
Why?
Firstly, I think fish is very full of nutrition, and then I like it most for it's so delicious. It's just my type of taste, so I like it most.
Do you like watching fish swim in the water?
Yes, I like go fishing in the water.
I'll try that one more time. Do you like watching fish swim in the water?
Yeah. I like fish swimming in the water because I think the movement, the movements of fish impressed me a lot. So it made me want to swim in the water. Yeah.
Is there somewhere where you can go fishing near your home?
Yes. There is. I took about 20 minutes to go there. And it's very popular. So at weekends, many people went there, and I like it very much.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Faye. Okay, that's enough. All right. So some good things and some bad things in your answer. So there in your last answer, so the question was, is there somewhere where you can go fishing near your home? And you began your answer very well. You said, yes, there is. Yes, there is. So this is a very common way for native speakers to answer yes or no questions. So for example, if the question is there somewhere, we might say, yes, there is, or no, there isn't. Or if the question is, do you, we might say, yes, I do, or we might say, no, I don't. Or if the question is, will they, we might say, yes, they will, or we might say, no, they won't. So that's a very good way to start an answer to a question, by giving this kind of 3-word response instead of just saying yes or no. So well done, you did that pretty well. Let's see, so you've got a few problems with saying what you like and what you don't like. So for example, just with the grammar of this, so you said, I like eat fish, and another time you said, I like go fishing. So they're both not right grammatically. So it's not I like eat fish, it's
I like eating fish.
good, okay. And it's not I like go fishing, it's
go to fish.
No.
Yeah, go. I like go. What? I don't know how to.
Anybody else know? Who knows this? This is pretty easy. Somebody else should be able to know. Ruby says, I like going fishing. Good. Yeah. Okay. Good. I like going fishing, or I like to go fishing. I like going fishing, or I like to go fishing.
I like going fishing. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I see.
So remember, it's I like doing something, or I like to do something. Either of those would be okay.
I see. Thank you.
Okay. And the third question I asked you was about whether there's somewhere you can go fishing near your home, and you explained that pretty well, but you just didn't get the grammar right again. You said, I took about 20 minutes to go there. I took about 20 minutes to go there. So it's not really, you wouldn't say, I took 20 minutes. We'd say...
I want to ask you, if I met this problem, I should say, it took me 20 minutes, or I took 20 minutes to go there.
Good. Yeah. So just like you said, the first one, it took me. Well, here you're saying it takes. It should be it takes me.
It takes me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Okay,
That's better.
I see.
That's better. Okay. All right. Thanks, Faye. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I'm going to get 1 or 2 more students. So we've got 5 students. I'm going to try number 2. Hello. Hi. Yeah. Hello. What's your name?
Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. Yeah. What's your name?
So I'm supposed to. My name is Gogo.
I didn't hear that. Say that again.
My name is Gogo. Gogo.
Okay. That's not a name. So it would be better to try and choose an English name that's actually a name in the future. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, okay. All right. So you can think about that for the next class. Think about an English name you would like to have. Okay. All right. So
Okay.
let's start with these questions. So about fishing. So do you like eating fish?
Yes, I do like eating fish. It can provide me with a lot of useful nutrition, for example, protein and energy. What's more, it's a very economical way to consume fish. I just need to pay 10 or 15 rand to buy it in the market. Compared with the pork, the beef, it is a very cheap one. So a very important reason why I like eating fish.
Do you like watching fish swim in the water?
I have to say, I don't enjoy watching fish swimming in the water. I think it is quite boring. And when given the chance, I'd like to read books or go to other place. I just think watching fish swimming seems to be very silly, and it can't arouse my interest.
Okay. Why do people enjoy going fishing?
Because they think it is a good way to relieve their stress, and also it is a very cheap way to spoil themselves. Sometimes they can just they don't need to many equipment to go fishing. Yeah, that's the reason.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. So just the last answer, the answer to the last question was a bit short. So you should have given a bit more information as to why people enjoy fishing. So try and keep talking pretty much until you either hear your examiner say thank you, or when you were looking at your examiner and you see that he or she is like that, like ready to ask the next question. So it's better to try and keep talking instead of just stopping. Okay. So that's one thing.
Okay,
so,
thank you.
Let's see. The main problem with your answers is that you're getting these 2 things mixed up, and I talk about this every week. Is this the first time you've been in one of these Gerbo? Is this the first time you've been at one of these classes? Or?
Yes, it's my first time to come here.
Okay, good. So some of the other students should be aware of this, because I talk about this almost every week, because a lot of people have this same mistake, right? So you're mixing up I like to and I'd like to. And so you're saying I'd like to when you should say I like to. Do you know what's the difference between these 2 things? I like to and I'd like to. What's the difference? Do you know?
I know the difference, but I can't explain it in English. I can say it in Chinese.
Okay. Well, how would I say in English? 我喜欢吃鱼.
我喜欢吃鱼 is I like eating fish.
Good. Okay. Now, what if I said I'd like to eat fish? I'd like to eat fish. What does that mean in Chinese?
I don't think it makes any sense. It sounds a
Okay.
little bit strange.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. You're kind of right there. Actually, it only makes sense if you add another part to it. Like, for example, if you wanted to say 我想吃鱼，但是冰箱里没有鱼. Then you could say, I'd like to eat fish, but I don't have any fish in the fridge, so I can't eat fish. That's when we might use I'd like to eat fish. So generally, or I'd like to do something. There's two most common uses for I'd like to in English. One is when you want to do something, but you can't do it for some reason. Okay. When I want
yes.
When you plan to do something. So if you plan to do something next weekend or sometime in the future, that's when you use I'd like to. So I'd like to do something is kind of like I want to do something. I want to do something. So it's different from I like to do something. So for example, in your answers, you said I'd like eating fish. So of course you mean I like, not I'd like, but I like. And another time you said I'd like to read book. So you mean I like to read books. I like to read books. So that's the most important thing you've got to be careful of. In your last answer, you said that fishing is a cheap way to spoil themselves, a cheap way for people to spoil themselves. So you can't really use spoil like that. So if somebody spoils themselves, it really means that they're doing something very luxurious or doing something very fancy. Usually it's something expensive, or usually it's something where, for example, they eat something that's very sweet, for example, or eat something that was prepared in a very expensive restaurant or something like that. And so it's probably not, you don't really spoil yourself when you go fishing. And Alice has an idea. She's saying it's a cheap way for people to entertain themselves. Yeah, that's probably better. Yeah, you could say people entertain themselves by going fishing. And another thing to say is just it's a cheap way for people to pass the time. Or it's a cheap way for people to relax, or it's a cheap way for people to spend time outdoors or something like that. But probably not a cheap way to spoil themselves. Okay, so those are the main points. Thanks for your answers. Okay, see you next time.
Thank you, John.
Okay, good luck. All right, let's do one more student. So we've got 7 students waiting, so I'm going to pick one more to answer these questions. So I'm going to go with number 6 this time. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Qing. This is my Chinese name.
Okay. So Qing, do you have any foreign friends?
Yes, actually I do. My boyfriend is a foreigner.
Okay. Qing, I think in general it would be a good idea to get an English name. Okay, it would be a better idea to get an English name rather than using your Chinese name. Why? For a few reasons. One, it's easier for new foreign people who you meet to remember your name if it's something that they recognize as a name. And so therefore it's easier for you to interact with people if you have an English name. And interacting with people is hugely important if you want to improve your English. And I'm sure because you're in this class, you probably do want to improve your English. So I recommend that you get an English name. It would be it would make your life a little bit better or a little bit easier in terms of learning English. Anyway,
I'd agree with you.
Okay, so let's do these questions about fish. Okay, do you like eating fish?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a fish buff because there is a lot of protein in fish, and like last time I cooked fish in the oven and I shared it with my grandparents. Obviously, everybody likes it. So yeah.
Do you like watching fish swim in the water?
Not really, because I find it quite boring, and I can't just understand why someone would just waste time and watch fish swim in the water. But I do know that some people like to do it because they may find it quite relaxing.
Okay. Is there somewhere where you can go fishing near your home?
Let me see. Yeah, there is definitely more than one place where I can go fishing near my place. It is like 20 minutes distance from my home, and I go to this place with my family members from time to time, and we usually have a lot of fun there, fishing, talking, and enjoying the sightseeing there.
Cool. Okay. And the last question. Why do people enjoy fishing?
I think there are more than one reason why people going fishing. First of all, people may find it like a great way to relax themselves. What's more, maybe people just like the feeling of, rewarding. I mean, it's an activity which is rewarding. It's like a teacher. When you finally make your students understand something, you will feel rewarded. And the third reason is like people just want to kill time, just want to have fun with their friends, and this can be just a random activity they choose to do this.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, Ching. Okay, good job overall. So very good pronunciation. You sound very natural. So I guess all that talking with your boyfriend is helping you, and it's paying off because your pronunciation is very good, and you've got a very good level of fluency. So it's very easy to listen to you speak English. It's not like it's not a struggle to understand what you're saying or anything. It's all very clear. So that's very good. Let's see, and you have you've used some good vocabulary there as well. Like in the last answer, you used some good phrases, like you said they will feel rewarded. Very good. So you're talking about people who go fishing. Yeah, that was good. I want to write that for everybody. Feel rewarded. And another good one you used just after that is, I think you said it's a good way to kill time. Very good. And so you had some good vocabulary, but you also have some, so a few important errors that you need to get rid of from your vocabulary. So, most important one, right? The most important one. So in the last answer, you said fishing is a good way for people to relax themselves. It's a good way for people to relax themselves.
Yeah.
No, we don't really say relax oneself in English. I'm sure the other guys at home know what I mean, because if they've been at other Drupal, then they'll know, they'll have heard me talk about this. So as Ella said, it's just relax. So it's a good way to relax.
Okay.
So, yeah, pretty much never say relax yourself or relax themselves. It's just relax. It's a good way for people to relax.
Thank you.
There was two more. So you said, so this one is not a mistake, but it's just something that Chinese people always say and the native speakers almost never say. So you said about how there's a good place where you go fishing, and you said, I go with my family members. So again, so as I said, it's not really a mistake, but it's just something that a native speaker would almost never say. Do you know what might a native speaker say? Any idea?
I can just simply say I go with my family.
Exactly. Go with my family. So we always talk about with my family, with her family, his family. We almost never say with my family members. Okay. And the last thing is just The last thing is just about the first question. So the question was, do you like eating fish? And you said, yes, I'm a fish buff. That sounds really weird, to be honest. That sounds really weird. We wouldn't.
I used this buff.
Okay.
Sorry. I use this vocabulary because last time I was watching also a live stream, and people were talking about some native vocabularies, and they used buff. For example, they say, if you want to say I'm a huge fan of movie, you can say I'm a movie buff. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can also say like I'm a fish buff.
Yeah, no, not really. So those people are right. You can say I'm a movie buff, but a movie buff is somebody who knows a lot about movies and who knows a lot of facts and information about movies. Whereas you're talking about how you like eating fish. So No, you
Yeah.
can't say I'm a fish buff unless the question was something like, are you interested in fish? And then you said, oh yes, I'm hugely interested in fish. I know everything about fish. I always read books about fish. In university, my major is whatever, aquatic science. So I'm really a fish buff. That's when you could use it. Okay.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So it doesn't, it doesn't just mean that you like something. It means that you like it and you know a lot of details about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay, see you later. All right, thanks. Okay, guys, so let's move on to part 2 in a moment. But first of all, I'm going to give you guys a quick challenge. But I also want to remind you guys, 所以如果你打算在下个月或者下个月就是12月份考雅思，然后你要提高你的口语，你可以跟我一起上小组课。所以我们每个礼拜都提供一些只要3个学生或者4个学生的口语课，然后在那些课你会有很多说话的机会，然后我会给每一个学生一些具体的可以用来提高自己的英语和提高自己的雅思口语分数的意见，然后我会分析每一个学生用来学习英语的方法，然后一般来说都会稍微改变他们做或者尝试改变他们用的方法，为了让他们更快的、更有效果的提高英语水平。所以如果你打算11月份或者12月份或者明年1月份考雅思，我真的推荐你来跟我们一起参加那个小组口语课。Right. So back to our next challenge. Let's see. So this time, I'm going to send you guys a sentence, and this sentence has 2 mistakes. This sentence has 2 errors. So what you've got to do is you've got to read the sentence, you've got to try and find the mistakes, and you've got to send me the full sentence without mistakes. 所以我马上就给你们发的一个英语句子，就要2个错误，所以你们要找出那2个错误，然后给我发一个正确的英语句子。So here it is. Last year, I had to do a group work with my classmates. We met for several times to plan everything. So what is the problem? So there are 2 problems, 2 mistakes there. Can anybody find those 2 mistakes? And the first person to send me a correct sentence, of course, can be the first person to answer our part 2 topics that we're going to start practicing in a moment. Thanks, Faye. So you're trying to find one of them, but you've got to send me a full sentence. 所以你们要给我发就是一个完整的英语句子。Ruby has already answered. Well done, Ruby. So Ruby said, last year I had to do group work with my classmates, so we met for several times to plan everything. Sorry, Ruby, not correct this time. You got another student here. Last year I had done a group work with my, sorry, no. So we've got 2 answers, but nobody is correct yet. Lynn is trying to give an answer here. So she says, last year I had to do a teamwork with my classmates. We met several times to plan everything. Nope, not correct. Yeah, last year I had to do a group work with my classmates. So we have met for several times to plan everything. Nope, sorry. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds more to come up with an answer. Next student says, last year I had to do a group work with my classmates. We met several times planning everything. Nope, sorry. All right, nobody's getting this right so far, so I'm going to give you, okay, we've got one or 2 more. Last year I had to do, we've got 3 more. Okay, last year I had to do a group work with my classmates, and we have met for several, nope. Last year, so Lee says, last year I did a group work with my classmates. We met let's see, I missed Lee there. We met several times to plan everything. Still one mistake, Lee. Still one mistake. Sherry, last year I had to do a group work with my classmates. We met several times to plan for everything. Nope, two mistakes. Sorry, Sherry. Wells, last year I did. Nope, there's no such thing as had did. Mindy, last year I had to do some group work with my classmates, so we met each other for several times to plan everything. Still one mistake, Mindy. Sorry. Lydia, did Lydia answer already? Well, maybe not, doesn't matter. Last year I had to do group work with my classmates, and we met several times. We met for several times to plan everything. Sorry, still one mistake, Lydia. Next student, last year I did a group work with, sorry, no, okay, sorry guys, nobody is right, nobody is right. Warren, okay, Warren. Last year I had to do group work with my classmates, and we met several times to plan. Warren, well done, Warren. Yes, we've got one right, well done. Warren has the correct answer. Last year I had to do group work with my classmates, and we met several times to plan everything. Well done, Warren. Finally, good job, good job. Okay, let's see, Don. Last year I had to do a teamwork. No, sorry. So Warren, I'm gonna share Warren's answer with everybody again. So this is what Warren wrote. Last year I had to do group work. Exactly, group work, not a group work, not a group work. Work is uncountable. Work is uncountable in English. Therefore, group work is uncountable. So it's just, I had to do group work, or I had to do some group work, or I had to do a piece of group work. Any of those would be okay, but you cannot say I had to do a group work. It's just I had to do group work, or some group work, or a piece of group work with my classmates. And we met several times to plan everything. Not for several times, not for several times. In English, you cannot do something for several times. You just do something several times. So I've talked about this before in these classes. Remember, I said, when you're talking about 时间, when you're talking about time, then you use for. For example, I worked on some group work yesterday for 2 hours, or for 3 hours, or last week for 2 days, or whatever. But if you're talking about 时次, times, then you do not use for. So it's not for several times, it's just several times. I did it several times, I met them several times, I went there several times, I ate it several times, or whatever. So well done, Warren. You have the right answer, so well done. Okay, so Warren, if you want to be the first person to answer the part 2, you can put up your hand when we're starting part 2, and I'll go to you first. Okay, so anyway, here, so let's see. So I'm going to send you guys the part 2s now, and first of all, I'm going to send you guys one. So we're going to practice 2 part 2 topics, just like every week. But I want to give you guys a little tip about the first one. And so the first one here is, describe the first time you spoke in a foreign language. Describe the first time you spoke in a foreign language. My tip is, I've listened to several students answer this topic, talk about this topic, and a lot of them are saying that they're saying, for example, the first time I spoke in a foreign language was English, and the first time I did that was 3 weeks ago, or was last week, or is today. This is the first time I'm speaking in English, or was last month, or something like that. Don't say that. Don't say that the first time you spoke English was last month, or whatever, or last week, or something. Say it was like a few years ago at least, because if you say it was last month, then your examiner isn't going to think that you're very good at English, and you're probably not going to be very good at English. If the first time you spoke was last month, or was last week, or was very recently. So that's tip number 1. Don't say that the first time you spoke a foreign language was when you spoke English, whatever, last week, or 3 weeks ago, or 2 months ago. It should be a long time ago. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, don't talk about an English class. Don't talk about an English class that you had. You should talk about, because, okay, technically you do, maybe it was the first time you spoke English when you had an English class, but in most English classes, you're barely speaking English, especially classes in school. It's just like you're maybe repeating something the teacher said, or you're answering a question from the teacher, or something like that. And so it's not real English conversation. So it's better to not say that you just started speaking English last week or something. And it's also better to not talk about an English class when you're answering this topic. Okay. Those are my tips for this topic. Let's look at the other topic. Okay, the next topic is describe a time when you worked in a group with others. Describe a time when you worked in a group with others. So again, this time, so just like every week, everybody should just prepare one. So I'm giving you a choice of two. You can practice whichever one you want to do, but everybody should just prepare one of these topics, and I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare. 所以我刚刚给你们发2个 part 2 话题，每一个学生都应该从那2个话题中选一个，然后准备那一个话题。然后你们有1分钟用来准备的时间，然后那个时间就现在开始。OK， 时间到了。所以 Warren， 我不知道你要不要回答这些话题。如果你要回答第一个，你就可以现在就说一下。然后，如果你要回答的是第2个的话，就是关于the time you work in a group， 那你可以等一会儿。所以第一个话题就是the first time you spoke in a foreign language. 所以如果所要想回答这个第一个话题的学生，可以现在举手。So if you want to enter this first topic, the one about the first time you spoke in a foreign language, you should raise your hand now. Okay, right, you've already got some people, so I'm going to choose somebody at random. And that is Don. Hello, Don.
The first time.
Okay, go ahead.
The first time I spoke in a foreign language is the time when I was in my elementary school. That time I met one of our foreign teacher, and he encouraged us to speak on the class, but we seldom, almost no students speak English in the class. But after class I met him occasionally, and then I talked to him. I have made some small talk with him, and we have talked about some daily lives, and he has also asked me and my friend some tips in learning Chinese, and we are also talking about some questions regarding to time management, and also he told us his views about the days and life in China.
Thank you, Don. Okay, thanks. I just let you speak for just more than a minute and a half there. So, okay, well done. You were able to keep going there. I think you probably could have kept going longer if I had allowed you. So, well done for that. The story you told was reasonable. So you talked about how you talked to that teacher outside of class. It sounds like a logical and believable story, so that's fine. Your biggest problem, Don, is fluency. So it's taken you a long time to finish your sentences, or even to kind of start your sentences. You're doing a lot of what's called repetition, whereby you say the first word or 2 or 3 words in the sentence, and then you say it again and again, and then finally you continue. So you've got a lot of repetition. And that's something that you'll overcome with practice. So it'll get better with practice, but it's just likely that you probably haven't done enough practice up to this point. So your fluency isn't great at the moment. Actually, what are you doing? Go ahead, Don. Yeah, go on.
Actually, I was telling a not unrealistic story. It's not all my own imagination. It never happened because I haven't been prepared.
I understand. So what's the truth, Don? When was the first time you spoke in a foreign language?
The truth would be when I was in the middle school, but the situation is quite similar. But I didn't really remember what we have talked. What I would have talked with the foreign language teacher.
Okay. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. My point is, so the main thing you need to improve is your fluency. So what are you doing at the moment to practice English and study English, Don?
Sometimes I practice English with foreigners on Discord, like some particular voice channels with those foreigners.
So Discord is like it's like a forum where you're writing, isn't that right?
No, it's like the YY in China. It's a similar software.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what
American. It's American software.
Yeah. So when you talk to those foreigners, are you talking to them on the phone or are you writing messages to them?
Talking on the phone or talking.
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. And how often do you do that?
Sometimes twice a week or once a week.
Okay, good. And are you doing any listening, English listening?
No, sometimes I just talk with them. I participate in their topics. Like sometimes or met different kinds of people, like people from Colombia, people from Japan, people from Spain. I remember last time people from Colombia, he said he wanted to move to Canada, and he was learning drawing by himself, because all the resources about drawings most of the resources are provided in English. So he need to study. So he need to study English very well to understand all the resources about painting.
Okay.
And
all right, Don. Well, anyway, Don, look, to improve your fluency, you need to do a lot of listening. Okay, so it's good you're doing some speaking, and that's good. That's a positive thing. But you should probably do it more than, like you said, once or maybe twice a week. You should probably do it a bit more than that. And also, you need to do a lot of listening every day, Don. Every day, all day. So many hours every day. Lots and lots of listening.
I also
that will improve your
listen to the podcast. Some podcasts.
Good. Okay. Anyway, just a couple of corrections, Don. So one time you were talking about this story. You said speak on the class. Speak on the class. I think that he encouraged us to speak on the class. So it's not speak on the class.
It should be in or at.
In, yeah, just in. Speak in class. You could say speak in the class, but speak in class is probably what we usually say. And you said we talked about some daily lives.
Should be something related to daily lives.
To daily life, maybe, yeah, to daily life. Good. Okay, and the last thing, You said, he asked me and my friends some tips. He asked me and my friends some tips. So you can't ask tips. You've got to ask.
Ask about something about.
Good. Okay, that's better. Yeah, good. Asked about, or maybe he asked for. He asked for some tips. Okay, yeah. That would be the best one. Okay, thanks, Don. All right, cool.
Okay, I made some mistakes on the prepositions.
Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. Don't worry. Okay. All right. Thanks, Don. Let's go to the next student here.
Hi, John. Nice to see you.
Hello. Hi. What's your name?
Melissa.
You too. Hi again, Melissa. Okay, cool. All right, Melissa. So when you're ready, you can begin.
Okay. I'm going to talk about my first talk with in a foreign language. I have been learning English for like 10 years, I guess, but I only have my first conversation, like a full conversation with a foreign people, is in last summer, and I was in a program called the Summer Work and Travel. So I went to the United States, New York State, and I remember when I got to the place I work. After the supervisor had given us the information that we need to know about our work, we had all of our, as employees, we had a little party, a small party, for us to making friends. And believe me or not, that was a terrible party for me because I was so terrible with my English, and any other except me, they were talking with each other very fluency, like very confident, except me. I was really struggle to express myself, and I couldn't make a full sentence. I couldn't answer their questions. For example, how about China? How about your flight? And how about your apartment?
Thanks, Melissa. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, good. That's a minute and a half, Melissa. So pretty fluent. That was pretty fluent.
Okay.
And I think you could have continued talking there. And it was, in terms of the meaning and expressing your meaning, it was very clear. And also it was a good logical story. It was a believable logical story, something that could happen to a person. So those are the good things, right? The bad things was just your overall rate of errors was pretty high. So you weren't producing many error-free sentences there, Melissa. You had a lot of little errors. So one thing is that you were not consistent about using the past tense. So sometimes you were using the past tense, but sometimes you were forgetting about it. Like you said, I have, when it should be I have. Sorry, when it should have been I had. You said when I get.
Okay.
Should have been when I got, and those kinds of things.
When I got.
And then a lot of other little mistakes with collocations and little different expressions. And for example, you said a foreign people.
With I'm sorry, I don't.
一个人怎么说?
A person.
A person, good. So 一个外国人怎么说?
A foreign person, a foreign people.
A foreign person, a foreign. But, it's a foreign person, not a foreign people. There's no such thing as
okay.
people.
That's
a foreign person, a foreign person, right? Or you could say a foreigner. A foreigner would be okay.
Okay.
Right. And another time, you said, believe me or not, something like believe me or not, but I was terrible at English at the time. So there is an expression like that, but it's not believe me or not. It's believe it or not.
What?
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not. Okay.
Yeah. So believe it or not, I was not good at English at the time, or believe it or not, I was terrible at English at that time. And you said those foreigners, those other people, you said they were talking very fluency. So fluency is a noun.
Fluently.
Good, exactly.
Right.
Well done. Yeah, good. Exactly, very good. They were talking very fluently.
Fluently.
And another time you said, I was really struggle. I was really struggle.
Struggle is a verb. I struggle.
It is, yeah, but it's the wrong
blah, blah,
form.
Wrong form.
So Ruby said I struggled with.
No.
Okay, that's good. Yeah,
Okay,
maybe
struggle
I
with.
struggled with, or you could say I was really struggling.
Struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was doing something. I was struggling. I was really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing, you said, the last thing is a pronunciation mistake. So when you're saying couldn't, it sounds like you're saying could. Okay, you're not making a big.
Okay,
there's not a big difference between.
Couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when you said you wanted to say I couldn't make a full sentence. What it sounded like was you said I could.
Sounds like a could.
Exactly. Yeah. So you got to be careful with that. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Melissa.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, we'll do one more student for this topic. So I'm going to go to Lee next. Hello, Lee.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. Very good. I can hear you. So when you're ready, you can begin.
Okay. The first time I talked in a foreign language happened 2 years ago. That time I was on a train to Shanghai. I went to Shanghai to attend a piano concert. And when I entered the train, I was surprised to find that I sat next to a foreigner, a female foreigner. I was struggling whether I should talk to her that time because I was a little bit shy and I was not confident with my English level. But I still wanted to cherish this chance to practice my oral English. So I typed, "Can I talk to you?" on my phone and showed my phone to her, and she agreed. And then we talked about some random topics. At first, we introduced ourselves to each other, and I learned she was an exchange student in Beijing Normal University from France, and she was going to Shanghai for travel, and she also asked me some suggestions like with either popular tourist attraction and should she go, and then we also talked about the Chinese food, and I strongly recommended the hot pot to her. She didn't know what is hot pot that time, and I explained.
Thanks, Lee. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Well done, Lee. Okay, well done. That was 90 seconds as well, so good job. And again, like the other students,
Okay,
I think you
thank
could have kept talking for longer if you needed to. So generally, very good answer, Lee. Well done. So it was a believable story, again, a realistic, logical story, and you explained the situation very well. And you had a lot of good sentences, especially at the beginning of your answer. Really, in the first 40 or 50 seconds of your answer, you didn't make hardly any mistakes, or you hardly made any mistakes. And so that was good. And overall, you put together a lot of good sentences. It seems like you've got pretty strong grammar, Lee. So your grammar seems good. You used the past tense very well. You remember to use the past tense, and you used it accurately. So overall, very high quality answer. Well done.
Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, so there's still a few things that you said that you that were not quite correct. For example, you said I was struggling whether I could talk to her or not. I was struggling whether I could talk to her. So that's not a situation where you can use struggling, really. Can you think of how to say that in another way? That shouldn't be I was struggling whether to. Oh, I think I might have lost. Hello, Lee, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay, right. So as I said, so you said I was struggling whether I could talk to her or not. So that's not quite right. Can you think of another way to say that?
I will struggle whether should I talk to her.
So not struggle, just yeah. You could say, well, maybe you could say.
Okay, I was hesitant to talk to her.
Okay, so yeah, with hesitate, there's a couple of things you could say. You could say, I was hesitant about talking to her. I was hesitant about talking to her, and you can also say I hesitated to talk to her.
Okay.
So somebody is saying I was hesitating whether I should talk to her or not. Maybe better say I was hesitating about whether I should talk to her or not. Or you could somebody else saying I wasn't sure. That's good. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether I should talk to her or not. That would be better. Okay. And the next thing you said I would so you said I wanted to cherish this chance. I wanted to cherish this chance. So we wouldn't say cherish the chance in this situation. What's a simpler way? A simpler verb that goes with the noun chance?
Grab.
Maybe, yeah, okay, that's not bad. Even simpler.
Catch.
Take. So somebody has a
take. Okay, sorry.
Take a chance.
Okay.
Yep. So in English, pretty much anytime you want to say "抓住一个机会," the best way to say it, the way that native speakers would almost always say it, is to take a chance. To take a chance.
Okay.
Let's see. The next one was you were talking about what this girl was doing. You said she was going to Shanghai for a travel. She was going to Shanghai for a travel.
For travel.
No, travel is not
traveling.
Really it's not really a noun. It's not really a noun. Almost never a noun. So what's a noun?
Okay. For traveling.
You're still kind of using. Oh well, I guess that. But no, we wouldn't say that either. We wouldn't say for traveling.
Tour or journey.
Not really. Somebody is saying for a trip. Okay. That's okay. Maybe, yeah, for a trip. But there's other nouns that are more common in English that we would use in this situation, which are kind of like
visit,
but a noun. Maybe.
Vacation, holiday.
Alice says it right. A holiday, or maybe a vacation. Yeah. So you could say a trip. You could say a holiday. You could say a vacation. You could say a visit. Yeah, any of those would be okay. You should not say a travel, and you should not say for traveling. Neither of those are okay.
Okay.
And the last thing, so I already corrected this when I think it was Don was talking a while ago, or somebody else. Maybe it wasn't Don. I can't remember. But you said she asked me some suggestions. She asked me some suggestions.
Oh, she asked me for some suggestions.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Good. She asked me for some suggestions. Okay. No. All right. Okay. So overall, very good answer, Lee. Thank you. Good job. Talk to you later. Okay. Right. So let's go to the next topic. So the next topic is about, let's see. Oh yeah, a time when you worked in a group with others. A time when you worked in a group with others. So anybody who wants to answer this topic, you can put up your hand now. And 然后那个回答对了那个第二个挑战的人，我已经忘记你的名字，是不是 William 还是类似 William 的名字？我忘记。如果你要回答这个，你也可以就说一下。或者其他人，如果你已经准备了这个第二个话题，就是关于你跟其他人一起合作的事情，可以现在就说一下。Okay, I'll give you guys 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we've just got a couple of people. So I'm going to go first to Ruby. Hi, Ruby. Hello. Okay, so Ruby, all right, when you're ready, you can tell us about a time when you worked in a group with other people.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the time I worked in a group with my roommates. It was last year when one of my class finished. Our teacher just asked us to make a presentation instead of taking an exam. It's quite different from what we have took before. So we have to divide it into several groups. And at this time, I just joined my roommates. and we made up a team. Our teacher gave us 2 weeks for prepare the presentation, and just to make us not in a hurry, just near the deadline, we decided to divide the sections, the whole presentation into several sections, and we have 4 people, so one people just take the responsibility of summarizing the information, and another 2 people just try to organize the presentation and made presentation slides. For me, I was the one to make the presentation in front of all the class, so I have to memorize the details of all the whole presentation, and during the film process, I have to supervise them to finish the section they have to do, and make sure they all finish it, just not to just get very lazy and don't want to finish it. And in the end, when the deadline came, our teacher just start the class, and we have to make the presentation in front of everyone. So
thank you, Ruby. Okay, well done, good job. So you spoke there for more than a minute and a half, and like the other students, you spoke pretty fluently. You could have kept going, and so overall pretty good. It was a bit similar to Melissa, so the second last student, in that you spoke quite fluently and you produced some good vocabulary and you had a logical answer to the question, but overall your rate of errors was a little bit high, so you had a lot of little errors there.
Okay.
So in regards to the past tense, so again, like most part 2 topics, this was a topic where you had to talk about an experience from the past, and you tried to put the verbs into the past, but about half the time you forgot to do that. So sometimes you remember it, and about half the time you forgot. For example, every time you use the verb have, you just said have. You didn't say had. So, for example, I have to, we have to. Another time you said when the class finish, should be finished. Yeah, good. And you said join my roommates. Joined. Yeah, exactly. So this is, so everybody watching, if you're preparing for IELTS, this is important.
Okay.
For part 2, most of you guys, you're going to get a part 2 topic about the past. Most of the time, the part 2 topic is about some experience from the past. So when you're practicing, remember that most of the topics are about the past, and it's important that you put the verbs into the past when you're talking about the past. This is important for everybody. Okay, let's see, a couple of other things. You said the teacher gave us 2 weeks for prepare. Give us 2 weeks for prepare.
Yeah.
Not right.
To prepare.
Exactly. Well done. Yeah, he or she gave us two weeks to prepare. Good.
Okay.
And you said to make us not in a hurry. Something. To make us not in a hurry. And so it's not to make us not in a hurry. It's maybe this is a bit complicated.
To not be in a hurry.
Okay, good. Yeah, good. Okay, yeah, to not be in a hurry. We started to work on the project very early or something like that, or maybe to avoid.
Okay.
To avoid being in a hurry. Yeah, that would be good as well. Okay. And another time, so you had the same problem as Melissa here. You said one people just did something. One person. Exactly, one person.
So,
okay,
if there's one, I should say person. But if more than two, I have to say people, not person.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Ruby. Okay, cool. Somebody has a question here. Ching has a question. She asks, does it have to be 2 full minutes? Yes. Yes, it does have to be 2 full minutes. It's kind of confusing because when you get the topic, your examiner is going to say, remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. But that's nonsense. It's not 1 to 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes. It's always 2 minutes. They're always going to let you keep speaking for 2 minutes. And you should always, as much as possible, you should always try and keep speaking for 2 minutes. So yes, Ching, it is a full 2 minutes. So when you're preparing these topics, if you want to practice practice doing these topics, practice talking for 2 minutes or even more than 2 minutes. It's a good idea to practice speaking for more than 2 minutes, because then in the actual exam, speaking for just 2 minutes will feel easy. Okay, let's go to another student for this one. Let's see.
Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
Again.
Hi again, Melissa. Okay, cool. Right. So, all right. So when you're ready, you can tell us about a time when you worked in a group with other people.
Okay, I'm going to talk about a time when I worked in a group with other peoples. So for about like 2 years ago, I was in universities, and in university I was leader or a captain of the debate team in my university. So we need to hold a debate competition for college students. So I worked with all of my team members, which was like 12 of them, and 3 of the vice captain. So our obligation is to hold competitions twice a year at least, to provide opportunities for all the debaters, to give them a chance to practice, and also give us opportunities to check out how much they make progress for the last 6 weeks, 6 months. I'm sorry, and so. What we did is to borrow some classrooms for the debate competition. So because other than classrooms, we don't have a nice place to practice debate skills, and so that was really a big thing for our debate team. And
Okay. Thanks, Melissa.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
Well done. All right. Okay. So I stopped you there after about a minute and a half. So well done. So I think you could have kept going longer there if I'd let you keep going. So you produced a lot of sentences, and some of your sentences were error-free, so that was good.
Okay.
Some good language there. You explained the answer pretty well. The story was pretty well explained. So let's see. So a couple of corrections. So a couple of problems with nouns. For example, you said one time you said other people's, and then a couple of times you said university. I think you said at universities or something, or in universities.
I couldn't remember in university.
Exactly, yeah, just in university, and it's other people, other people, and in university. So you were adding an S there when you should not have been.
Okay.
So that's let's see. You said this sentence. You said to check out how much they make progress. Check out how much they make progress, and you kind of mispronounced check out. So yeah, so that's check out. But
no, I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, so right, so you said to check out how much they make progress, and so there's a couple of mistakes there. So yeah, first of all, yeah, it probably shouldn't be check out, but just maybe to check.
To check, okay,
or
check.
To see, and it's probably how much progress they made. They made because it's the past.
Oh, they made, yeah, because it lasted 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that. To see how much progress they made, or to check how much progress they made would be okay. And let's see, one more thing. So you said to practice debate skills. Okay, but it's not what we'd usually say. We'd usually just say to practice
debate. That's it, right?
Probably debating. To practice.
Oh, debating. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Debating is a noun, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like practice. Same as like practice swimming, and practice reading, practice listening.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, a lot of these words that go with practice are like ing forms.
Okay, I got it.
Right. Okay, thanks, Melissa. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, we're going to move on to part 3 very shortly. But let's see, a couple of things to remind you guys. Oh yeah, 一件事情就是写作，所以你们都在准备雅思口语，然后我也那就意味着你们也在准备雅思写作，然后除了我们的口语小组课之外，我们也有一个就是写作课程，我们有几个不同的写作课程，有一些是你可以用来自学的，然后还有一个你可以每个礼拜给我发3篇你写的雅思作文，然后我会批改那些作文，然后我会在 QQ 给你1对1的反馈，然后给你提供很多提高写作的意见。所以如果你要提高你的写作分数，你可以参加那个课程，或者可以在这边 CC Talk 也上我的自学的那个步步学雅思写作课程。那个步步学课程就是特别适合不太知道如何形成雅思小作文和大作文，如果你不知道如何安排你的回答，那我特别推荐你先上那个步步学课程，会特别有帮助。其他我们也有一个帮助大家准备雅思 Part 2的课程，就是考官约翰雅思口语话本，那个就要全部25个9月份出版的，今年9月份出版的雅思 Part 2话题的范文，那些范文都是我自己说出的，所以不是我提前写的然后朗读的，很多范文就是那样，然后不太有用，所以这些范文就是最地道的，因为我做的就是自发的说英语来回答那些话题，然后以后把那些语音变成文本，所以你可以边听边读，那些范文那个话本，你可以就在这边在 CC Talk 买，只要99块钱。Okay, so right, there's advertisements. So let's go on to part 3. Let's see. So part 3 of oh no, sorry, we've got to do a challenge before we go on to part 3. So in this challenge, it's a translation challenge. So I've got 3 simple English sentences, and all you've got to do is translate these sentences. Sorry, 3 simple Chinese sentences. These are 3 simple Chinese sentences. All you've got to do is translate these Chinese sentences into English. So let's see, I got a message from a student who says, I'm taking the exam tomorrow, but I really hope that I knew you provide this course. IELTS, okay. Yeah, well, maybe your exam won't go well tomorrow, so I can help you the next time. But hopefully you won't need that. Hopefully your exam will go well tomorrow. Okay. Anyway, here are the 3 sentences. 所以这边有3句中文，然后这3句中文你都要翻译成英文。然后第一个正确的翻译这3句话的人，就可以做我们第一个回答 Part 3今天的 Part 3问题。Okay. 所以已经发了。OK， 我在我的微信公众号 Learn with John 已经写了一个关于这个话题的文章，就是关于分别就是比如说Irish people 和 Irish language Ireland 或者 Spain 或者let's see Portuguese language Portuguese people 我已经写了关于那个话题的文章，因为很多人在谈到不同人的国籍或者语言都犯很多错误，OK， 所以有很多人都给我发一个翻译，你们3句话都要翻译，3个都要翻译。Ruby 就是第一个回答的，就是 French speak French in France, German speak Germany, speak Germany in German, Korean speak Korean in Korea， 都不对，不会是，一个都不对，全部都不对。OK， 所以 还有很多人只翻译了第一个，一共有三个都要翻译。Juan, French speak French in France, poupée. Lydia, French speak French in France, poupée. Don, French people speak French in France, OK. Don, 但是你只翻译了一个，全部三个都要翻译。没有其他人回答吗？已经有100多个人看，怎么只有一个人回答？你们看到这些柱子吗？他们都就在旁边，就在那个聊天窗口。第一个就是法国人在法国讲法语，第二个是德国人在德国讲德语，第三个就是韩国人在韩国讲韩语。应该不太我打开一些学生的麦克风，问他们能不能翻译这些句子。所以 Julia， 你看到那三句中文吗？
看到了。我应该
怎么还没有回答？
我回答了，但不一定是对的。
没有出现你回答了，那我看不到，也许这个系统有问题，因为我只看到了一个人的回答，也许系统那个聊天窗口也许出问题。所以 Julia， 你可以告诉我们，法国人在法国讲法语怎么说
？French people speak French in France.
Good, very good. 第二个呢
？German speak German in Germany.
Good, very good. 然后最后一个
？Koreans speak Korean in South Korea.
Excellent, very good, very good. Well done, Julia. Okay, good. Julia's got them all right. So let me write them for you. So the first one is French people, and the word people is very important, because there are some nationalities in English which need people, which you can't just say. For example, I am from Ireland. I can't just say Irish speak English. I have to say Irish people speak English. And French is the same. We can't say French speak French. We have to say French people speak French. And so it's French people speak French in France. And then the second one is we can say Germans, like Julia said, they're Germans, or we can also say German people. Either is okay. And they speak German, and the country is Germany. So German people speak German in Germany, or you can also say Germans speak German in Germany. And the last one is Koreans, or you can say Korean people. Either is okay. And they speak Korean, and you can say either in South Korea, or you could just say in Korea. Either is okay. Okay, well done, Julia. Okay, so you were the first one to give a correct answer. So I'm going to let you be the first one to answer these part 3 topics. And the first topic is related to the topic of a time when you spoke in a foreign language for the first time. So your questions are all about language learning in general. All right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Julia, at what age do children in your country usually start to learn English these days?
I guess they start learning English at the age of 6, because at the age of 6 usually children they become pupils and they start school, and some of them they begin to take English classes, and also some of them their parents take them to any extracurricular classes, so they could learn English from there.
Okay. In your opinion, is that the best age to start learning a foreign language?
I guess it perhaps yes, because when children they are smaller than that age, or when they are toddlers, they are perhaps too young and they couldn't learn their native language well, and is maybe it will be a burden for them to learn a foreign language. But as the children they grow older, the perception of new languages may decrease. So perhaps it's the best age for them to start learning a foreign language at 6.
And if somebody is already good at English, is it necessary for them to learn other languages, in your opinion?
I guess it depends on whether they are interested in learning new languages or not. If they are fluent in English and they think that will be okay, or they just use English in professional occasions or for traveling purposes, and then it will be okay for them to just learn English and not to learn another language. But if they are interested in learning new languages other than English, they would it is a good choice for them to start learning a second foreign language, perhaps, I guess, because learning a language is to via learning a new language, they can learn more about another country, a totally brand new culture. So that would be a benefit for them.
Okay, thanks, Julia. Okay, pretty good answers overall. Very good answer to the last question there. You gave a very complete answer, and you had a lot of error-free sentences in that last one. And in the 3 answers overall, you had a lot of error-free sentences, so well done. And in the first answer, so the good thing about the first answer was you gave a specific age. So the question was, at what age do children in your country usually start to learn English these days? And you gave a specific age. You said at the age of 6, so that's good. A lot of students, when they get that question, they might say, well, in grade 1 or in grade 3 or something like that. But that's not an age, so it's not really answering the question correctly. But you answered the question correctly. You gave a specific age, so that was good. And let's see, but in that, just after that, then you said, at that age, at the age of 6, you said they become pupils. They become pupils. And so I guess you're thinking like the word pupils just basically means 学生, and it basically means student. Is that right?
Yes, because I thought pupils pupils mean 小学生. So
no.
Yes.
小学生 is primary school students, or you could say in America they might say elementary school students. So no, pupils has a different usage. And it's not commonly used. It's not commonly used. In fact, it's probably, as a general rule, it's probably just better to not use pupils, because you're almost never going to have the opportunity to use pupils when it's going to be correct. Anyway, what does pupils mean? Well, generally it means 学生. But we usually only use it when we're talking about the students of a particular school. So, 某一所学校的学生. So, for example, if you wanted to say, 我家附近的那所高中的学生都很聪明. Then you might say, the pupils in the high school near my home are all very clever. So if you're talking about a particular school, then you might say the pupils of that school. That's okay, but in that situation, you could also use students. Students would be okay as well. So most of the time, when I hear Chinese people, Chinese English students use the word pupils, it's wrong. They're not using it correctly. And today, again, you're not using it correctly. So it's not to become pupils. Pupils does not mean shao shui shang. It just, it basically means shui shang, but it's completely not as flexible or not as commonly used as the word student. Okay, so it's better to just say student. Let's see. In the second answer, you said they perhaps too young. They perhaps too young.
They are perhaps too young.
Exactly. Good. Well done. Well done. Good. Okay. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is just a little pronunciation mistake. So I'm writing an answer for you.
Burden.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what you said earlier, but it wasn't right. But it seems like you said it correctly there. So yeah, it's burden. Burden. A burden. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Juliet. That's enough for you. Thank you. And yeah, I see that now. So now I'm seeing a lot of messages of people who answered the challenge. I don't know why those messages didn't come up earlier, but I couldn't see them earlier, and they've all just suddenly come up now. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So okay, let's go to another student. Right, so we've got a number of students waiting. Let's see if we've got any new students. What about number 4? Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi again. So I talked to you earlier, isn't that right?
Yes, I'm come back.
Okay, good. That's fine. All right. Okay. So some more questions for you about learning languages, learning foreign languages in general. So, right, do you think everybody should learn a foreign language?
Yes, I definitely think it is very vital. Considering the fact that the world is linked more and more closely, and if we can get a good command of a foreign language, we may more likely to get the promotion or advancement in the future career. And what's more, if I can say a very good foreign language, for example English, we can gain a very good academic performance in the university or in the high school. And even it's very beneficial in all levels of education.
Thank you. And so in most countries around the world, people who learn a foreign language in school, like in middle school or high school, fail to actually learn to speak the language. Why do you think that is?
Pardon? They just need to speak the language?
So in most countries around the world, most people who learn languages in school don't ever really learn to speak the language. Why do you think that is?
It could be related to the educational structure. For example, in China, the teachers always stress the importance of writing and reading, but they just tend to neglect the significance of speaking. Maybe sometimes we don't have many chances to speak. And also on top of the structure of the examination, if a student can have a good ability of reading and listening, writing, and that's enough. So even though you can speak good, it can't be helpful in improve your academic performance. That's the key problem.
Okay. So in language learning, there are 4 main skills. There's speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Do you think they're all equally important, or do you think some are more important than others?
I think speaking and listening should be more important because that's a basic requirement if you want to have a communication. For example, if you don't own these 2 skills, even though you can read or you can write, you still cannot talk to other people. That's quite bad.
So what should somebody do if they're in that situation? If they're already able to read and write, but they're not very good at listening or speaking?
They should shift their attention from the original 2 topics to another 2 topics. Now that they are good at these 2 items, they should divert more their time to the other subjects. Maybe do more the relevant exercise, or just speak more. And even though we don't have the foreigners to talk with, we can talk to ourselves.
Thank you. Okay, all right, good. Okay, good job, well done. Okay, I think here you spoke better than in part 1. So I know you spoke in part 1 as well, but I think you did a better job here in part 3 than in part 1. So here, this time, you had a lot of good collocations, a lot of good times when you matched the correct verb with the correct noun, and you put a lot of good phrases together. So your vocabulary seemed quite impressive there. So well done. Like, for example, you said in your first answer, they tend to neglect. So to neglect,
Yes.
that's a very good verb. I think you might have said they tend to neglect speaking or they tend to neglect listening. It doesn't matter, but you used it well anyway. So that's a good verb. Well done. And you said another time you said a basic requirement. Well done. So that's another good collocation, a good thing that native speakers will often say. We'd often put those two words together, a basic requirement. And another time you said they should shift their attention. So whatever it was like they should shift their attention from reading and writing to listening and speaking. So to shift one's attention from something to something else. So well done, you used that expression very well as well. So a lot of good expressions there. There was another one that was almost right, but you had a different, you had a small little mistake in it. So I think it was they should. Oh yeah, you said they should devote more their time to. Devote more their time to. So you forgot one little word there.
I say divert or
right,
divert.
Okay, well, okay, same. You still forgot a word. You still forgot one word. So divert more.
More time to the other two items.
Okay, more time. That would be okay. Yeah. So you said divert more their time. So it should be either divert more of their time, or what you said there is okay as well. Divert more time. So either divert more of their time or just divert more time. And either of those would be okay. And then the last thing, just one little mistake here. So in your first answer, you said they have a good ability of reading. So it's not to have an ability of doing something, but so how?
Pardon? My network, the signal is not so good.
Okay, so you said they have a good ability of reading, and that's not right. So I'm asking you, how could you say that in another way? How could you say in the most basic way possible, 他们阅读很好?
They are good at reading.
Good, exactly. Yeah, they are good at reading. So we wouldn't say they have a good ability of reading, and we just say they are good at reading. So in English, we can't really say I have a good ability of, or he has a good ability of. We just say they are good at, or he is good at. Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. Good job. Well done. Good job in part 3. Okay. Let's go to the next. And remember, guys, this is one of your last chances to speak. So I really encourage everybody to put up your hands. There's more than 100 people here, and we just have the same maybe 10 people who are putting up their hands. So I encourage more people to give this a try and take your chance to speak. So let's go back to Ching this time. Sorry, Ching, I'm trying to turn on your microphone, but it's not coming on. I don't know what the problem is. It'll probably come on in a second. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I'll try it one more time, Ching. Don't know why it's not working. Could be some network issue. Yeah, it's still not coming on. Let's see, and I'm going to go to. So I'll come back to you later, maybe, Ching. I'm trying to turn on another student now. So yeah, I don't know why it's not coming on, but I'll come back later. So this time I'll try Sherry.
Can you hear
Hello,
me,
Sherry.
John?
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay, cool. So Sherry, so let's
I'm
see.
sorry, a little, one moment, just.
Okay.
Could you say something?
Yeah, sure. Okay,
yes,
so
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So at what age do children in your country usually start to learn English these days?
Well, I think it's probably 5 or 6, when they could speak some native language. After that, their parents may want them to get to know something about the English so that they could perform good when they are learning English in school. So they start to teach them alphabet or simple English words.
So do you think that that's the best time for a child to start learning a foreign language?
I'm sorry, do you mean what is the best age that children start to learn English?
So you said that in your country they usually start to learn at around 5 or 6, and I'm asking you if that's the best age in your opinion or not.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Well, I think it's a good age to start to learn English, because your brain start to your brain have a certain central have a certain area that you when you grow up, your ability to learn a new language is getting to decline. So I think students children need could learn a foreign language as young as they could, so that they could learn this English better.
So do you think if somebody is already good at English, is it really necessary for them to learn other foreign languages?
Well, I think so, because English is a worldwide language, so that it's nearly everybody like to learn English, they should learn English, so that they could know some, so that they could they just could I'm sorry. Can I start over again?
Okay, so let's try that question again. So, what was the question? It was so if somebody is already good at English, is it really necessary for them to learn other languages?
Well, yes, I think so. Because English is a worldwide language. English is a worldwide language, so everybody needs to learn it. It's important. It's important and useful. But you need to learn a lot of language, because language learning could help you to exercise your brain, and it's also a very important skill. If you want to study abroad, and some countries they have their own native language. For example, Japan has Japanese, and Germany has German language. So if you need to study there, they will you need to speak their language.
Okay, thanks, Sherry. All right, okay, pretty good job overall. So just you struggled a little bit with the last question, understanding the last question, and kind of starting your answer to the last
I'm so nervous, sorry.
Don't worry. So in the last question, you said so you started your answer by saying how important English is, which wasn't really relevant to the question, because the question was about other languages other than English. But eventually, then you did explain the answer pretty well after that. So even that answer was pretty good, and the first two answers were good as well. In the first two answers, you had a lot of good language, a lot of good sentences, didn't make many mistakes, and you expressed yourself pretty clearly. And so I'm just going to give you maybe two corrections. So one very small one, and in the second answer, you said your brain have.
Has.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Yeah, your brain has. And then another time you said children could learn as early as they could. I think it might have been children could learn English as early as they could. And so I know what you're trying to say here, but that's not how we would say it. Basically, do you want to try it another way? So you're trying to say, like, basically 他们尽可能的早应该开始，应该尽可能的早开始。 you know how you might
could
say that?
Be children should learn English as young as they could?
It's not as they could. So that's not how you say this. It's not as they could. Does anybody know how could Sherry say this? So basically, what she's trying to say is, 他们应该尽可能的早开始学习英语. How would you say that in English? Anybody? Yes, good. So the phrase you're looking for here is as possible, something as possible. Like, for example, as early as possible or as young as possible. Good. They should start to learn as early as possible.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, that was it for you, Sherry. Good job overall. Thank you. Okay. Right, I'm gonna get. I'll try a new student here. No, so I don't know why, but I'm trying to turn on different people's microphones, and their microphones are not coming on. It's a problem with CC Talk, it seems.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I've got one now. Okay, hello.
Wow.
Hi.
So lucky to be picked by you.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So what's your name?
My name is Cindy.
Cindy, okay, cool. All right, Cindy,
yeah.
So we're going to change topics. We're going to move to the next topic, which is
sure.
It's all about teams and leaders. Okay, teams and leaders, right. So Cindy, is it important for children to play on sports teams, do you think?
Yeah, I think it is important for children to play on sports team. It develops their concept about team spirit. And I think children really enjoy learning what team spirit is when they're playing. It's a good way to play. It's a good way to learn. And from my own experience, I think learning things when children are playing in a team really works, and it works very well.
Mm-hmm. Do you think boys and girls should play the same team sports?
Yes, I do think so. I think there is no special reason for them to play separately. The same game work equally well for girls and boys, and by playing together, they won't be learning things like discrimination between the two genders, and playing together at an early age makes them think each other is their friends and won't think about hurting others when they grow up. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And in general, do you think that girls enjoy the same sports as boys do?
Well, I think some girls might do, but generally there's a big difference in strength and the time they could play in boys and girls. For example, I know boys like kicking football, but girls generally prefer swimming or playing tennis or other ball games. Not rugby or football or something, but games that require short times and not so tiring.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
So moving on to leadership. So do you think that every group needs to have a leader?
I think children will generally pick their leader when they're playing.
So not
it doesn't mean
children,
that you have to point.
So not just children, Cindy, just groups in general. Do you think that every group needs to have a leader?
I think that a leader will gradually appear in a group. It's not that everybody vote or picked out a leader, but it just comes out at times, and everybody will listen to him or her. So I think a leader just appears naturally.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, Cindy. Thanks. All right, good job. So
should I give any examples?
Yeah. So your answer to the last question wasn't very complete, and so you didn't. So let's listen to the question again. So the question was, do you think every group needs to have a leader? Do you think every group needs to have a leader? So you said that a leader will naturally emerge, and they don't necessarily have to choose a leader. But that's not the question. The question wasn't, do do you think every group needs to choose a leader? It was, does every group need to have a leader? So, like, for example, what happens if a group doesn't have a leader? So that answer wasn't very complete. The other answers were all really good. All your other answers were very, very good. And the language you used was really good. So lots of good vocabulary, very few mistakes, really no important mistakes in your answers, lots of good sentences. So the only time you had a little bit of trouble was just in that last one. First of all, hearing the question the first time, and then the second time, you still didn't really fully answer the question.
Perhaps I should state that I was just focusing on something else when you tried to link me. I was.
Okay, maybe, yeah, maybe. All right. Okay, well, anyway, very good job overall, Cindy. Very good quality language overall. Thank you. Okay. So let's see. I was trying to get, I tried to turn on Huang's microphone earlier. And
hello,
yes,
hello, John.
Hello. Hi. Do you have an English name? Or?
You can call me Django.
So that's no.
Django.
That's not a name either. So anyway, so right, let's just call you Huang. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So so guys, like there's like things like Google. Google, and even in China, if you can't use Google, you can use Bing. Okay. So just it's very easy. Just go English, like men's names, English men's names, or if you're a girl, then English women's names, and just choose one. Okay, but you can't just kind of can you tell me? Just go to the dictionary. You can't go to the dictionary to choose a name. You've got to go to like Google or Bing or some fucking place and choose an actual name. Okay.
Can you tell me the meaning of Django?
Well, jingle. Jingle is like the sound of a bell. It's the sound that comes from a bell. So it's like a sound, a noise.
Sorry, I'm Django. D-J-A-N-G-O. D-J-A-N. Yeah. Sorry.
Django. Okay.
Django.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if it has a meaning. The only time I've ever heard of that was in the movie Django Unchained. Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie? Okay.
Yes, I saw that movie.
Okay. Well, anyway, I still don't think so. Maybe there was somebody in that movie who was called Django, maybe, but it's still not a good name to choose, because let's say you're in Australia or America or someplace, and you meet somebody and they say, hello, hi, nice to meet you.
Sorry, the internet is not well. The connection is not well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's get started with some questions. So if somebody is not a good leader, can they learn to become a good leader, or do you think leadership is just a natural born talent that some people have and other people will never have?
About leadership?
Yeah. So
I think leadership is a natural ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think leadership means brave, and means brave. Brave. A leader have to be a brave, and just like that. You must decide to do what in a group, and you must plan. You must project. Or plan a work, or just decide a direction of the project. So you have to have money, means braveness and the knowledge. I think it's natural and learned ability, combination.
So you think somebody who is not a good leader can become a good leader through practice?
Yeah. You can practice to be a good leader, and you just to be a brave person, and you just learn some knowledge or skills to be a good leader, and you can just decide what the work have to do, and decide the direction of the plan.
Okay, thank you. Right. So a lot of usually managers get paid a lot more money than their employees. Is that fair in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's fair because managers have to do many works and they have to pay much their attention to the general orientation of work or job, and they must they just think much details and the general direction more than the common employers. So I think they deserve the pays, the salaries, you know. They deserve it.
Okay. Thanks. All right. Thank you, Huang. All right. Okay. So not bad. So generally, you answered the questions reasonably well. There was a little bit of time where you were struggling to understand the question. I think the first one, but then you eventually got to understand it, and you gave a fairly logical answer. You've got some mistakes that are related to nouns and forms of nouns and verbs that can and can't accompany different nouns and go with different nouns. For example, work. So work is uncountable. Work is uncountable. So when you said plan at work, that's not correct. How do you think you might say that? So not plan at work, but
project.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Program.
Okay. Plan a task. Any of those would be okay. Maybe a program. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any of those would be okay. And another time you said they have to do many works. They have to do many works.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong. So what should you say? You know.
Have to do much tasks. And
anybody else want to try? Anybody? So that's not quite right, Wang. So I'm going to ask the people at home. How would you say? 他们要做很多工作. I wonder if anybody else at home knows how to say it. So.
A lot to work.
Exactly. Yeah. So some people are getting it. So they have to do a lot of work. They have to do a lot of work. And so I've talked about this in different turbocas before, but in English, when you want to say, for example, 他们要做很多, that's not they have to do many, or well, it might be they have to do many, but it's usually they have to do a lot of. They have to do a lot of something, or whatever. Eat a lot of rice, drink a lot of water, earn a lot of money, spend a lot of time, and it's a lot of. It's not. In this case, it's not many and it's not much. It's a lot of. Okay. Another time you said they can learn some knowledge. So that's another thing so the verb and the noun don't really match there. So in English, we can't really say to learn knowledge. Does anybody know, or do you know, Huang, what could we say? So in Chinese, you might say 学习知识. But in English, those two words. Good, exactly. Well done, Huang. Yeah, good. They can get a lot of knowledge. Good, well done. Alice is saying gain. That's good. Yeah, gain knowledge. Lee is saying acquire. Well done, Lee. Yeah, that's acquire knowledge. That's good as well. Okay, yeah, any of those would be okay. And let's see.
Yeah.
You said, and another time you said managers. I think you said something like managers have to do a lot more work than common employers. So it's not employers. It's so employers, that's kind of the same as managers.
Employees.
Exactly, yeah, employees, common employees. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the main points, Huang. So thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, cool. You're welcome. Okay, guys, we've already done 2 hours, so that's enough for today. We've got to finish. Okay. 所以今天的直播马上就要结束，所以谢谢大家今天参加。我们下个礼拜4也会要一个直播，但是我们今天连续的 两个 Part 2和 Part 3话题，就是我们最后两个，就是9月份出版的最后两个话题。所以，我不知道，下个礼拜也许会做一些5月份的，因为那些5月份的话题会持续到12月份，所以练习那些话题也要用，特别是如果你是你今年打算考试。还有呢，就要提醒大家，如果你需要帮助来准备 Part 2话题，你可以就在这里买我的考官雅思 Part 2口语话本，然后在那里我录制了自己回答所有现在的就是所有9月份出版的 Part 2话题，只要99块钱，然后如果你需要我的帮助来帮助你，如果你需要我的帮助来提高你的口语，你可以参加我们 Learn with John 口语训练营，就是每个礼拜2或者礼拜3、礼拜5或者礼拜6都有课，都有少班的3个学生或者最多4个学生的课。所以如果上那些课的话，你会有很多说话的机会，我会给你很多提高你英语的意见。然后写作我也可以帮助你提高你的写作。我们有这边的 City Talk 有那个步步水课程，我已经解释过。然后还有另外一个，你可以每个礼拜都给我发3篇作文的，然后我会修改你的作文，的另外一个写作课程。Okay, oh yeah, some questions. So let's see. So one person was asking. Oh yeah, one person was asking if you if you ask the examiner to repeat the question, can that like give you some more time to think about your answer? I think that's not a good idea, because if you ask the examiner to repeat the question, he or she is just going to think that your vocabulary is not very good because you didn't understand the question. So if you don't understand the question, then you should ask the examiner to repeat it. That's fine. But if you do understand the question, just take a few more seconds to think about the answer. Don't ask them to repeat it just in order to give yourself more time to think. Okay, because it's in general, it's better to not ask the examiner to repeat too many questions in the exam. That would be better. Okay, all right, guys, thanks very much. So that's it for today. 谢谢大家参加今天的直播，下个礼拜4也会有一个直播，我们下个礼拜再见，拜拜。Oh yeah，也可以给今天的那个直播点评，请给我们留5颗星，拜拜。